Tonight is the beginning of the conference finals. The Celtics will be facing the Miami Heat. So I thought, what better guest than the Rain Man of NBA knowledge himself, Mike Weisberg of On the Break Pod. Bring him in. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the Celtics Heat matchup. Let's touch on this Mavs Warriors matchup. And let's talk about some other things in NBA Top Shot. So let's get right into it. Here he is. Mike, how are you?
Let's go.
There's the man.
Man, it's 6:40. We're pre-recording this for those that don't know. It's like 6:45 my time. I am fucking hyped for this week. We got content on content on content. Yeah, it's gonna be a great week, man. Pretty excited. Lots of great basketball. We got Celtics Warriors. Or sorry, we had getting ahead of myself.
That might be a preview of the finals.
We got a little Celtics Heat. We got Mavs Warriors. We got the Tandy man fresh off his rant all weekend. Enjoyed that on Sunday. And then we got a bunch of Top Shot stuff we got to discuss. So we got a lot going on today.
Absolutely. Plenty to talk about, and that's always a good thing. So we'll start right off the bat with the Celtics defeating the Milwaukee Bucks.
Ooh.
No team won it at home. It just felt like everything was lining itself up for the Celtics to win that game. It just felt like the Bucks were gassed. They relied entirely on Giannis to just bring that team to another potential appearance in the finals, and it wasn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. People have been giving – I don't want to say people have been giving Giannis shit. People said he didn't play a great Game 7. The man was 25, 20, and 9 in a Game 7. 25, 20, and 9. Are you fucking kidding me?
And he had that stat line that was like one of the best of all time in terms of a series.
It's something like 500 points, 200 rebounds, like some wild, like some very atypical, or I should say typical Giannis stuff. Yeah, it was an incredible series. There are, in kind of listening to different podcasts over the last day or so, because I'm a basketball nerd, so like I deep dive into all this shit. Plus, I enjoy when my team wins. So like,
yeah, of course,
I'm an asshole, so I'll listen to like opposing teams like podcasts where they're crying about losing. It's great.
Same here. I was definitely listening to Locked On Bucks after Game 7.
Right? You're just like, I just want to bathe in your tears.
Yeah.
But from a speaking broadly, I think there's a couple things we can take away from the series. One, Ime Udoka adjusted this team to death. There's a lot of like little adjustments that they did. Even in Game 7, they went 5 shooters at one point. They went Grant, Tatum, Pritchard, Horford, and Jalen, which basically didn't fucking happen during the regular season, like at all. If you look at the like their actual minutes throughout the regular season, that it only happened in like 5-minute spurts in like 3 games. So Ime is just busting out lineups that literally no one has seen yet. So I think that's the first takeaway, is real coaching adjustments. Ime really proving his mettle here in these playoffs. The second one, obviously, is Tatum kind of hitting that next level. He was good, not great in Game 7.
Right.
I think there is something to be said about Grant shooting 18 threes in a Game 7. That's pretty fucking wild. Let's be honest.
It's wild that the Bucks gave him that. I couldn't believe it.
Like, think about, as a Celtics fan, I was thinking about this. Like, Grant Williams. This man was sitting on the bench last year. He was like a 10th, 11th guy for this team.
Right.
And Brad did not trust him. And now he's winning a Game 7. Like,
because he became like a corner 3 guy. He became like a 3-and-D guy.
And he's about to get paid.
Yeah, you're right.
And he is about to get a very, very big contract in true free agency, not in restricted free agency. So we'll see what happens with him. But yeah, those are kind of my core takeaways. Tandy, what were your takeaways from kind of the series, broadly speaking?
Well, I don't know what my exact takeaways were. I guess for one, the Celtics defense is just on another level, I'd say. I was really happy that defense could continue to look as good as it did without arguably one of the best defensive players of the season on the court.
Yep.
I mean, that was nice.
Time Lord for 4 games, basically.
Yeah, the way the way that Al Horford could turn back the clock and play that well was incredible to me. I remember talking about this before the series with Judge, who's a big Bucks fan, thinking, "Oh, Al Horford, he may have been able to keep up with Giannis like 5 years ago, not now," and
Yeah.
that wasn't the case. I mean, Al
No.
Horford played his ass off, and he looks incredible. And so
Shout
yeah,
out
the
Brad
Celtics are.
Stevens.
What'd you say?
Shout out Brad Stevens.
Yeah.
For,
So the
trading
Celtics.
Kevin for Horford.
Yeah. So yeah, my main takeaways are just that this team is on another level defensively. Defense wins championships. Tatum decided to kind of flick the switch. I mean, he had a few games there where he just didn't really look like himself. And game 6, he remembered who he was, it almost felt like. And game 7, obviously, my biggest takeaway was as a Bucks fan, I mean, I wasn't even paying full attention to what the Bucks were doing on offense, but they couldn't hit a damn shot. Their role players were awful. And on defense, they just kept giving Grant Williams all the space in the world. And if I'm a Bucks fan, after Grant Williams hits like 3 or 4 threes in your eye, you start to at least close out.
Well,
And it
there's
seemed
some,
like
there's some weird lineup stuff. I
yeah,
mean, you can talk about George Hill, Javon Carter. Okay, whatever, fine. Grayson Allen was fucking unplayable. I'm sorry. Like I didn't understand the Grayson minutes, but look, they're limited, right? They traded Dante DiVincenzo, which is going to be a restricted free agent in the offseason for picks, and Serge Ibaka. So that's one part of it. They let PJ Tucker go in the offseason. That's another
that was a
part of
big
it.
one.
So you can't go small. Because in theory, if you have Tucker, you can play Giannis at the 5 and switch everything. So, the Bucks kind of put themselves in a box, and they had to play Brook for offense.
He played well though.
What?
Brook Lopez played pretty well though.
He did, but the downside of playing Brook is you got to play drop, and that means you have to basically, you're going to give up corner threes.
Okay.
So they made a decision, and Bud talked about that post game. That he was asked the specific question you asked, Tandy, which is like, why didn't you guys change your defensive assignments, knowing that Grant Williams is hitting threes? And his actual answer was, the question is the answer, which sounds a little bit of like fortune cookie logic. Like the question is the answer. But he's right. Like ultimately, they were kind of dictated by the matchups. Unless they were really going to go man and put themselves in a situation where Brook Lopez is going to get cooked defensively, which he would have anyway. Like the difference would have been the Celtics would have basically switched Tatum onto Brook eventually, or Jalen, and basically take pull-up threes or drive past them. So the question is, from the Bucks' perspective, is would you rather have Grant Williams taking corner threes, or would you rather have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum driving the lane against Brook Lopez or taking pull-up threes? Sure. And the calculated decision they made was like Grant Williams, a guy who shoots 40% from 3, shoot set threes with the closest defender being 6 feet away.
Yeah. Well, didn't quite end up very well for them, but no, I am certainly happy.
I'm very happy.
Yeah. So moving right along, then, why don't we discuss this: the Miami Heat versus the Boston Celtics? So Miami Heat, the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. I mean, it seems like they're not quite getting the respect and the love. A lot of people were saying that the Bucks Celtics was like a preview of the champion of the league. I think it's a little early to be crowning any champions. What are your thoughts on the Miami Heat? And is Kyle Lowry intended to play? Do we know if he's going to be healthy in this series?
He's out today, I believe.
Okay.
It's my understanding. I'll double check Twitter, see if anything has popped up yet, just to give us a little 6:50 in the morning Pacific. Just so y'all know.
This man is dedicated.
I am. According to the Miami Herald, Lowry is ruled out. Yeah. So this is according to Keith Smith, Reg Celtics blog. If you don't follow Keith, he's fucking awesome. Great Twitter follow. The Heat have listed him as out for game one.
So can the Heat beat the Celtics without Kyle Lowry through an entire series?
They can. So there's a couple things you have to consider with the Heat. Let's walk through their path a little bit first. They beat a Hawks team that, I might argue of the regular playoff teams was the worst. Obviously, they were the 6th seed.
Yep.
And a lot of the things that they did to Trae Young, they say they're going to do to Jason Tatum. Good luck.
Yeah. What specifically would you say they think they can do to Jason Tatum?
Well, what they're going to do is going to throw a bunch of them bodies at him.
Okay. So
they'll start with PJ, PJ Tucker. They'll give him kind of the Kevin Durant treatment. Have Tucker kind of get into his body a little bit. They'll throw Jimmy Butler at him. They'll throw a little bit of Bam at him. By the way, quick side note on Bam, and this is going to be kind of fun to watch throughout the series. Bam and Grant Williams have known each other since high school.
Oh, interesting.
They're both Charlotte kids and have known each other basically even longer than that. They've known each other since AAU days, basically.
Okay.
So they have a very long-standing relationship. So kind of similar to in the last round in the West with Jordan Poole and Jaren Jackson Jr., both guys who've known each other since they were kids. It's kind of a similar thing, and that's always a weird dynamic in a bunch of different ways. But particularly with two guys that play the same position, I think that's going to be real fun, just as like a smaller subplot to watch throughout the series, because both those guys are pretty animated. But specifically speaking about Tatum, yeah, they'll throw Jimmy at him, they'll throw Tucker at him, they'll throw Bam at him, and those are going to be the three main defenders on him. The Celtics are going to try to switch Tatum onto like Gabe Vincent if you can. Try to cook Gabe because he's not necessarily a great defender. He'll probably see some Max Strus too at different points. Although Strus is probably going to be guarding, more like Jaylen Brown by and large. But I think the key with Miami is Miami's going to throw a lot of zone. If you watch the regular season matchups, went back and watched them this week just to kind of get a feel. And they throw so much zone at the Celtics. And it's something the Celtics have actually struggled with, at various points because they're not an elite shooting team. And unless they're really in the flow with their offense, they don't cut a ton. And depending on the kind of zone that you throw at them, they're going to have to cut in the middle of that zone and make plays. A lot of that is going to be Marcus dependent because once you get him off ball, he's probably their best cutter, in my opinion. I know this is kind of like deep dive, nerdy stuff, but I think it's important in terms of broadly understanding what the Heat are going to do. Offensively, I don't think Miami's that good. They have shooters, don't get me wrong. And Jimmy's going to do Jimmy stuff. He's going to get to the line a ton. He's going to match up hunt a little bit. It'll be interesting to see what the Celtics do with Smart questionable. That's going to leave their guard rotation a little shaky. You're probably going to see more Peyton Pritchard minutes than, frankly, I would like in a conference finals, even though I love P. Rabbit. He's great. Have we decided on P. Rabbit, fast PP for him?
I like fast PP.
I love fast PP. Yeah, like I do think there's a lot to consider with this matchup, both on the offensive and defensive end. I mean, the Celtics, we know what they're going to do. We know the Celtics are going to play man. They're going to gunk things up a little bit. What they do against Bam, I think, is going to be interesting. They're going to throw a lot of bodies at him. Robert Williams is apparently fully healthy. We'll see.
I don't know how that works. How he was labeled as healthy, didn't play a single minute, and now he's healthy.
I think 110%. They were like, we would not like to play you.
Yeah,
he's available. It's it's a little bit like my dating life. I'm available to date. Now whether or not anyone is actually taking me out on these dates is a whole other thing.
Okay.
Like, I'd be here. Damn. No, look, I do think Time Lord probably will play in game one. So, Bam will see a healthy dose of, some Time Lord. He'll see some Horford. He'll see some Grant Williams. I'll be intrigued to see, I think PJ Tucker is going to have an outsized impact on this series, both offensively and defensively, because he's going to be hiding in the corner for those threes. Basically, the Heat go as their shooting goes. Does Duncan Robinson play at all? I think is a lingering question. I mean, the Heat paid him fucking $90 million.
So
Is
he's been
he
losing out minutes to like
getting
Max
stuck with?
Strus.
I mean, Strus has been playing great, both him and Gabe Vincent, but I think both those guys are liable to be picked on defensively,
Yep.
and it creates some real matchup problems on the defensive end. Offensively, those guys will be fine. Strus is an okay shooter. By the way, a guy who was on Celtics at one point as like a 11th, 12th guy. Coincidentally, Brad didn't figure out how to use him. Weird, huh? So yeah, there's a lot to get into there, but obviously there's the coaching too. Both Ime and Eric Spoelstra are. I almost forgot Spoelstra's name there. Both Ime and Spo are elite coaches. I know it's early to say that about Ime, but I just think he's that good at this point.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a chess match here as far as figuring out different lineups, some smaller like in-game strategies. Foul trouble is obviously going to be a thing here, depending on how you feel. Also, Tandy, how do you feel about having one day off here? I am worried about the Celtics in Game 1.
I am too. That was a massive like cocktail of emotion and just adrenaline, keeping your bodies able to go up against a very physical Bucks team. You then have a day off, and now your body sort of floats back to normal. Now you start aching and hurting, and now you got to go play immediately right after in Miami. That is concerning.
I mean,
I am
you just played Thanos for
right.
fucking 7 games, and now you got to go play the Avengers in Miami.
Yeah, there's definitely potential for like a letdown game here.
Because let's be very clear, Miami is fucking physical. Like if there's anything that we know about Miami and kind of what Miami does, they're gonna beat you up.
Okay.
And they're gonna gunk this game up, and they're gonna make it a difficult game. And Jimmy is Jimmy, man. He's gonna get to the line 16 times this series, every fucking game. And there's gonna be a lot of politicking with the refereeing. It's gonna be a big thing, understandably, because of how often Jimmy gets to the line and Bam gets to the line. And Tatum too, but the Celtics aren't a team that gets to the line that frequently. The Heat are basically going to dare the Celtics to shoot. What it's going to come down to, they're going to say like, we don't think you guys can shoot at a high enough percentage. One small theme that I was worried about during the conference semifinals is Jalen okay?
In terms of him losing the dribble often, or what do you mean?
That his handle, man. Like what? They were in multiple games. I'm talking like particularly late in series, 5, 6, 7. He'd have possessions where he's just flying off the handle, like literally. Don't get me wrong, he's shooting pretty decently. But his handle is weird right now. I don't understand. Anyway, just something to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine because I know one game that comes to mind actually was Game 1 versus the Nets. I mean, obviously that was quite a while ago, but one of these very like high intensity games where all of a sudden we looked super sloppy. And I think that maybe when Jalen starts dribbling the ball off his foot, it's like maybe the intensity of it is getting to him. It's like perhaps, I'm not sure. But anyway, what's your prediction at least for Game 1? What is your prediction for the series?
Look, Celtics in 6. By the way, can we quickly shout out Packrat for he very quickly DM'd me about this bet and paid it off. Donated awesome. A little under $800 to Marcus Smart's foundation for pediatric cancer, Young Game Changers Foundation. It is a great foundation. If you have a little extra cash, good place to donate to if you're looking to. Yeah, that was awesome. That was definitely one of the highlights of that post game was my Twitter blowing up for an hour and a half.
Blowing up for all the right reasons. Sometimes your Twitter blows up for not the right reasons. So it was great.
I mean, Tandy, have you had your Twitter blow up for the wrong reasons yet?
I don't think my Twitter has ever blown up for the wrong reasons.
No, you haven't had NFT ethics on your ass yet? You know,
No,
like
no. One day, I'm sure.
I mean, look, NFT ethic is going to come for all of us at some point. I'm sure. Look, it's fine. We're all dead in the internet world anyway. At least we're
Yeah.
doxxed.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Celtic in 6. I'd say that's probably my prediction as well.
I think Celtics lose tonight, though.
Okay, interesting. So you think that this idea of them being gassed from this series is going to lead to them losing one? You think it's going to be a close one? You think the Heat are going to hit every three and lose by 15, or what do you think?
Ooh, this is going to be one of those. The first quarter you're going to feel things out a little bit, and then I could see the Heat going on a bit of a run, like kind of a pull away run between like the 8-minute mark and the 3-minute mark of the second half. I know that's very specific, but it's like, once you kind of get your legs under you and it starts hitting you that you're in the conference finals. And don't be wrong, these dudes know what the fuck they're doing. They've been here for a minute.
Yeah, they've both. I mean, the Heat have definitely been there. They're in the finals in the bubble.
And for Tatum and Brown, this is not their first rodeo either.
Yep.
This is Tatum's third, Brown's fourth. So,
But yeah, I would agree with you though that I think the Heat are going to have fresh legs and the Celtics are not, and so it'll be interesting to see if the Celtics can overcome that tonight.
yeah.
The Vegas line, the Heat are favored tonight by a bucket. The series though, the Celtics
That's a
are
weird
favored.
line. Only
Mhm.
two?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I wonder if that's a trap. I wonder if that's a trap line, and actually the Celtics end up winning. That'll be nice.
That would be great. I'd be very happy with that.
It would be great if the Celtics could like muscle out a win the way the Bucks did when it seemed like they surely should lose that game and somehow they won. Because and that's actually another point I wanted to ask you. Do you think that the Celtics would have won that series if Chris Middleton was healthy? And
Yes.
for the purposes you do, and with or without Rob Williams? Without, you think they still beat him with Chris
I
Middleton?
think it'd be hard, mostly because of what Middleton does, his ability to drive the lane. And like the whole thing with Rob is you're basically fun. Like, I'm going to get a little basketball nerdy here. So
Go ahead. While you're
with
here.
Rob, what you're doing is not only is he able to erase your mistakes, but basically, most traditional NBA basketball is basically pick and roll, right? So like what the Bucks would do is you'd have Tatum on Middleton, and then they'd get the switch they would want, which would probably be Horford, right? So you run a Giannis pick and roll with Middleton, and basically you would get Horford on Middleton. At that point, Middleton's gonna shake and bake a little bit. Shout out Will Ferrell, and he'll either pull up, take that step back three, or he'll drive. Now, obviously, he's quicker than Al. Let's say he gets by Al. What Time Lord does, Robert Williams, is he's going to come from the side here and cover the backside and basically acts like a roaming free safety. He's typically guarding a non-shooter on the floor, which allows him to erase those mistakes once you get by that initial defender.
Right.
If you don't have him, it gets harder because then you're putting Grant Williams in there, and frankly, Grant Williams isn't as good of a defender off ball as Robert Williams is. You're just not like Williams alter shots, he blocks shots. He's
Right.
able just to change the dynamics a bit more. Maybe Middleton, hits his 17-foot pull up, which he's great at anyway. But I do think Middleton would have changed the game for sure.
Yeah. Well,
Whether or not they would have won is a whole other thing. Time Lord being there, we'll see. But yeah.
Oh well, we get to just enjoy that hypothesis, that whatever, that imaginary hypothetical. Yeah, we get to enjoy it since we've won already.
Yeah,
so,
doesn't matter to me. I'm good with it.
Yeah. What about what's your quick take on the Western Conference?
Look, I think the Warriors have played like dog shit. Their path has been real easy. Look, they beat Denver, which without their two best players.
Yep.
And Denver pushed them a little bit. And they beat a Memphis team without Ja. And frankly, their last two games, they should have won. They they snuck by here in Game 6, despite having like 22 turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you can't have 20 plus turnovers in this Western Conference Finals. You
Yep.
can't do that consistently. You can't win that way. I think Dallas is unbelievable. Steve Kerr said today they remind him a little bit of 2018 Rockets, which I think is kind of an insult to the 2018 Rockets because I think that team was a bit more talented than this Mavs team is, for being honest. I think that Rockets team had better defenders. They had PJ Tucker. They had Pat Bev. Shout out Pat Bev for his fucking ESPN takes yesterday, by the way.
It's ridiculous.
Throwing a blowtorch to CP3.
The parking cone. I love it.
Jane Coaston, also an excellent Twitter follow, had this yesterday. She was like, "Look, if the person that I hate the most, I get to slander on TV, I would fucking run to that studio. I would be there at 5 a.m." So yeah, that's what Pat Bev did yesterday.
Yep.
But look, I think the Mavs are really good. And I think they're going to give the Warriors a lot of different matchup problems in ways that I think will be a little sick this morning. A little more difficult than I think people realize. They're going to spread them out. They're going to obviously shoot a ton of threes. Luka is Luka. They're going to matchup hunt the fuck out of Jordan Poole. Good luck, Jordan. Good luck having Luka switch you up and just hit threes in your face all series. And the Warriors do have some injury problems. GP2 is likely to come back towards the end of the series. Otto Porter's battling like a leg back thing. They just I think Steph and Clay are going to do Steph and Clay things. But Steph has turned the ball over a ton. Draymond's been fine. He's been good defensively. But offensively, he's been, he was very aggressive in Game 6. I'll give him that. But outside of that, I think Mavs in 7, which I know is like the jerk off way to say that you don't know. Anytime you say X team in 7, you're really just saying you don't really know who's going to win.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think Mavs in 7 because I think they can actually win one on the road. I think Luka gives zero shits.
No, absolutely.
About playing on the road. I mean, you look at the European leagues and some of the places he played there, Game 7s are light work for him, And he was doing that stuff at 16, 17, 18. So, yeah, he's fine. Mavs in 7, baby.
All right. I like it. I mean, I think I'd love to just see as much Luka as possible, not when he's beating the Celtics.
Although to be fair,
yeah,
the team selfish side of me.
You want to be able to possibly go to a game.
Would love a Warriors Celtics final.
Yeah, I think
the get-in price. I was looking at it with Blazy this morning. Get-in price would be like $700-800.
Yeah, but are you not? But you're in the Celtics Discord. But you can only win Celtics Fleet Boston Garden tickets for that, or
yeah, you can only win TD Garden tickets.
All right.
I can reach out to Faldo, the guy who's running the Discord and playoff captains. Let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
Let's have this conversation. We're here. We got another 20 minutes here.
Yeah.
I want to get into this. You and I have talked about this off air. Let's go behind the curtain a little bit and rip off the Band-Aid. Playoff captains. So for those that don't know, you can get tickets from playoff captains. Tandy talked about this weekend. It's a shit show.
Yeah. And it feels bad.
And here's the thing. To say that. And here's the reason why it's a shit show. Most people don't know what's fucking happening because their comms have been shit on it. I didn't know about this until Tandy brought it up. And then kind of in talking to people within the Celtics Discord, they ran a contest over the weekend where basically it was a showcase for Grant Williams. You had to have a low serial Grant Williams. It was 3 or 4 digit serial for Grant Williams.
I actually have one of those, by the way, but I'm not in the Discord. I could have lent you one. You should have told me.
I know, right? You could have flown in from Brazil. We could have gone to the game.
I'm not in Portugal. But hold on.
Portugal,
So
all right,
so
whatever.
it's fine. But hold on here. And by the way, I plan on having team captains on my stream. But
Yeah,
um so you're telling me that there was a contest for members of the Discord, and to
correct.
be eligible, you needed a low serial Grant Williams. Is that right?
That is correct.
That is insanity. That's so ridiculous. I mean, at least it gives everyone a chance, which is less insane.
There and to be clear, I know they already have winners for the showcases, and they're confirming with Top Shot today to announce winners. Now I know in the Heat Discord, I don't know what the competition was, but there was some kind of a competition, and I know in Boards to Buckets, one of our guys happened to get tickets to Game One through that competition. That's all
So
public. So, but like basically, they're doing like kind of random showcase challenges in some way, shape, or form. I think is my understanding. And basically, I would guess they're probably doing some kind of randomizer to choose it. But basically, like this is really at the captain's discretion of who, you know, whether it's showcase or like whatever that maybe they're doing trivia competitions, whatever it is. That's how they're choosing this, which ain't real transparent for one. And it's also just weird. Like, I get it, I understand it. At the same time, it's like, you know, I can already feel people on Twitter getting mad.
of course, that was the absolute
that's
certainty.
that's kind of like I understand it, but if I don't know about it and you don't know about it, and we're two of the most active and engaged people on the platform, you know, I'm just gonna throw ourselves out there.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. No, 100%.
Like, you know, people engage to you know, you get these full team sets, or you get an S2 or an S3 set, and it's like people are gonna be like, I didn't even know about this because your comms were so shit about it that you didn't really tell people and didn't give people like the Celtics Discord is basically like a 1 in, you know, whatever of the people who knew, like a 1 in 100 or 1 in 200 or 1 in 300 chance of getting playoff tickets, which is great odds.
Those are good
Fundamentally,
odds.
like really, really good odds.
Right.
But it's also like, why are you putting people in this spot, like in this spot where they're going to be like, you're rewarding set holders, but because your comms are so bad about it, you're putting people in a box where people are just going to be mad instantly. And maybe Top Shot's perspective is people are mad on Twitter because they're going to be mad on Twitter. We're going to do this the way that we want to do this. It's fine.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I think that the intention comes from the right place, which
Correct.
is like, we are going to let these people who have these communities engage with the most badass prizes possible. And how could that possibly be a bad thing? But like you're saying, if the comms aren't there, if the people who already paid to buy the moments to know about and are now in the Discord, and they somehow miss out on that chance, that's also not right. And it's also not right that now they have to require you to have a certain serial number of a certain player. Because to me, that's just like,
look. I think that's. I get that. I think that's an interesting and maybe even like fun way of doing it.
and I don't know. I don't know.
I at least I embrace the idea of doing something like kind of interesting. Serial numbers can be fun. Like I'm at least with it in terms of trying to provide value to your Discord in some way. And frankly, you're encouraging marketplace activity, which
Yeah, that part's okay. And at least I'm sure there's like 3-digit Grant Williams you can be had for like $8. So like that part is fine.
I checked the marketplace yesterday at like 10 to 50. They were like 10 to $12.
Yeah, like that's not the worst thing in the world. You're encouraging marketplace activity. But like I said 2 days ago, I'm just very concerned. Like you said, the communications obviously aren't great. We don't know how any of the giveaways, I don't know how any giveaways are going on in any team Discord right now. I have no clue. And I wonder if where we should be even getting that information from. Like, I don't think Top Shot
This
wants
is
to
a
all of a
Dumbo
sudden,
issue.
but Dumbo doesn't want to be the one who's like, hey guys, let me tell you what's going on in every Discord. But maybe they
You're
should
head
have,
of
maybe they
social.
should have that.
You're head of social, right?
Right, but do you care how like the Blazers are giving away T-shirts to their audience or their
I don't
Discord
care how they're
members?
giving away T-shirts. I do care how they're giving away conference finals tickets.
Right. So I would then I guess
So
I
like,
agree.
like ultimately, whether this is not to name names, but if you're following enough people on Twitter, like whether this is Carrie Ohm who runs a bunch of social, or Luke or Jacob, like have a fucking calm strategy, guys. This isn't hard. This is like basic 101 shit.
He's getting
Like
angry.
it's just I'm becoming
Oh,
I'm becoming like
put my simp face on. Go ahead.
yeah, I'm becoming like fucking Zakarian yesterday.
Zakarian definitely rails on the comms and the leadership.
No, look, Zakarian and I have talked about this in DMs too. Like this is not this is not, and I've talked about this publicly too. Like it's so frustrating. I don't understand. How do you have a $7.5 billion company and can't do the most basic shit with your comms? Like, you're giving away conference finals tickets, one of the biggest things that you're going to do all year, and you can't even get at like announcements out publicly. Like, hey guys, you know what would be great to say before the end of the weekend? Hey guys, you might want to jump into your team Discord. There's going to be some cool announcements regarding tickets for ticket giveaways.
You're right. I can't disagree with that.
You don't even have to say what the challenges are necessarily, even though I think more info is better. You could say, they're doing some kind of challenge showcase, but you need to be in the team Discord. And you need to have that as your favorite team, right? It's just, man, you're getting me riled up at 7:20 right now.
It's a little early for this.
It's fucking early for me. Getting me all angry before work. Yeah, man. It's just I don't get it. And ultimately it's like, you could say, well, I didn't win a competition that I didn't know about, so no loss on me, right? Yeah, but like, and look, it would have been a fucking hassle to fly cross country and figure it all out. I would have made it work. But it's more just about like do the most basic shit. Like put people on the same level to participate on your platform. That's what you want, right? You want people who are engaged, to understand what's happening. If you're not doing that, the in real life stuff kind of doesn't matter to me. Like it's cool. Like Bleezy went. That made me very happy to see my co-host of my show on the Break Pod, which we'll be running a lot of content this week. But was happy to see him get to go. I blamed him for the game one loss. But it's so frustrating. Just
I know,
don't get it. And I know we're kind of kicking a dead horse, but it's
right.
like, Tandy, am I wrong here?
You're not wrong. And it sucks because you think about what is the most likely reason for something like this. What is the easiest answer? Like the easiest answer is just people have too much on their plate, most likely, and that is just further down in the line of the hierarchy of needs in terms of the Top Shot social media or whatever, or whoever is in charge of that.
How about this, Tandy? How about stop posting fucking office memes and get your shit together?
No, that's an easy one, right?
Right?
I mean,
you gave me a layup. Giannis layup right there.
I imagine that's probably because these are like compartmentalized departments, and like that's the social media intern or something, and this would be the responsibility of somebody else, of a Dumbo or who else. But yeah, man, I don't understand. Like obviously you're giving you make a great point, which is the prizes are so revered by the NBA Top Shot community, the NBA community in general. Guess what? You get to go to the conference finals, and it's all paid, and just you don't have to worry about a damn
it's not
thing.
all paid. You still have to
not the hotel and not the flight, but your tickets are free, and you might even have good tickets. I don't know where the tickets are, but your tickets are free. Yeah, your tickets are free to go to the conference finals. And
Yeah.
like and if there's other Top Shot people going too, I feel like that's also an interesting angle.
Or
Like you
cool, it's
get
going
to
in real life stuff. Yeah, that
yeah,
sounds
like
great.
yeah, and we're gonna hear about this when it's already kind of after the fact. I imagine it's probably gonna be like,
They're
you
going to
know,
announce
like
something today, is my understanding.
yeah, but we'll see some cool videos. Like the
Sure.
finals are gonna end, and then we're gonna have a nice wrap up video with cool music and like people enjoying
Great.
the game and
Well,
sitting in the
you didn't
clubhouse.
let people know about any of it. So
I
like,
know it's happening after the fact, which is definitely not ideal because right now is when you should be building the hype, the interest. This is when everyone should be getting excited. But yeah, like the nature of giving the responsibility out to the team captains individually, and I talked about this the other day. It's like the idea is great. I love where that comes from, where it's like we want to give back. You guys sort of be more autonomous, choose your own adventure. You guys take care. We want to support you. I get that part, which feels really good. But then there's like the other part, that like the centralized part. It's almost like centralized versus decentralized. Like
yes,
you're still missing that centralized aspect, which is so important, which is that you are running a massive platform. You're trying to attract new users. You're trying to garner positivity amongst your community. This is a huge opportunity that you need to like drive home and
here's the
build.
thing. Their basic point is they don't want to handhold, right? Like that's what they've said about playoff captains. We don't want to handhold these communities.
That's fine.
Okay, totally fair. I get that. Same time, once these communities make decisions, you need a decision tree.
Hmm.
You know, that's the way organizations work. But if my manager, who's at some level of my organization, needs to report up to a director, that director needs to relay that decision up to the VP,
Hmm.
or an associate director up to the director
But
up to the
how's that?
VP.
But how's that going to work if they're giving like all the keys in the hand of like two team
So for a
captains?
playoff captain, what that means is the playoff captain needs to go to Dumbo or whoever is kind of like, whether it's Mustafa or someone else, like someone on their social team, or their Discord team, and be like, hey, here are the decisions we've made. Um, and they can do like a weekly Twitter update.
Hmm.
And it wouldn't be that hard to do. Or they can make it part of their weekly spaces. You know, these are the updates going on with these teams for like playoffs and whatnot. Um, and go from there. Or, if I know certain teams have taken it on themselves to have their own Twitter, that's cool too. But I
Hmm.
do think like stuff needs to be reported up the chain, and then that information needs to be given out downstream some way.
It actually feels like they. I mean, now we're talking about organizational strategy on Dapper Labs. They need someone on their team that literally that's all they do. Like they are a manager of these team captains, and that's all they do. Because Dumbo,
Right.
I mean, I'm not focusing in on Dumbo, but I'm sure Dumbo's got like half a dozen things that he's paying attention to every day. And now when you start saying now you're gonna have 30 or 60 individual team captains or
He's
whatever.
also managing a full other NFT.
Sure. So there's a lot of things going on if we're just talking about
Like,
Dumbo specifically. But if
right.
Dumbo
I'm
or
just
anyone
I'm just saying
else,
broadly. Yeah.
yeah,
To your broader point, yes.
yeah,
Whether it's Jacob or Mustafa or anyone else on the social / Discord side, Carrie. They have a lot. They have a lot that they're dealing with. Say nothing for the fact we haven't heard anything about Summer League.
I know that I talked about that the other day too. That's I don't understand that. That's a huge missed opportunity if we don't hear about something real soon. Like we need to hear something in like the next week or two, or else it's like not fair to people who intend to go.
It's stupid. Like, how have you not? This is arguably your biggest event of the year,
You know what?
right?
Honestly, just to interrupt you for a second, this is when Zakarian makes a lot of sense, honestly, because this is when it feels like there's just a missing leadership. There's missing leadership.
They're
Sta-
allegedly going to announce something this week.
right.
That's what I've heard. I don't know whether that's how accurate that is. Um,
About Summer League or what?
no
We don't
leadership.
know we don't know. Oh, about leadership. They're going to announce something about leadership. Where did you hear
That's
that? Got
yeah.
some DMs going on?
Like all I'm going to say is that's what I've heard. Whether or not that's happening, we'll see.
Okay.
That is the hot and heavy rumor, kind of in the Top Shot streets. I've not spoken to any Dapper Labs employees about that, to be clear.
I just think though that even if they did mention, okay, we have a new GM, that'll give a little
Great.
bit of cause of optimism. But we actually like need to see change. We need to see something. There's got to be something. Like the GM comes out and has like a long ass Twitter Spaces and then promises to show up every week, or
The
I don't even know
promises
what.
are fucking worthless at this point.
Well, then I
Let's
don't
be
know.
show me.
Show don't tell. Show don't
Right?
tell.
Show don't tell. All right.
Yeah, I
Like
100% agree.
I'm tired of having worthless nothings whispered in my ear about false promises here. Like let's get moving.
Yep, 100%
You
agree.
say you want to do X, Y, and Z. Look, I mean, we're running low on time here, but here's what I was saying. Look at all the things from the Roham Spaces that just haven't fucking happened.
Yep.
They said there is going to be a trade ticket marketplace coming. Has not happened.
Bidding.
Weekly Spaces hasn't really happened. We've had some of these player ones, but like actual like mechanics of stuff, no, has not happened. Or more regular. I shouldn't even say weekly Spaces. Regular office hours.
I understood it like twice a month. Was it originally supposed to be twice a month? And I think I saw Jacob on Twitter say that they're going to have one this week.
Cool, great, awesome.
But yeah, it would be cool if we knew ahead of time.
It'd be great if you like set a date and time and made it a regular thing.
Agreed.
And then on top of that, now we're in a space where supplies outstrip demand, and new user growth has gone to shit. The entire NFC communities have I know you have an interview with AG coming, so I don't want to step on your AG bud, because AG and I we lock hands on some things, and it's funny, Tandy, you talked about this on Sunday, and it's like, this does not come from a place of FUD. Let me be very clear. This comes from a place of like really loving a product and watching a product that you really love just like not get fucked up, but just like being frustrated with the way it's being managed.
Yeah.
And
I think we're so emotional about it too. To me, I feel like more emotional.
Are we emotional about it because of our bags, or are we emotional about it because we like the product?
I think it's I don't even really think about my bags anymore. Like, yeah, I'm down money, but I don't really pay much attention to it. And I think I'm more emotional just because of what was built on the back of NBA Top Shot.
Correct.
Like it built this incredible community. The fact that we're even just talking at 7 o'clock in the morning, like it built this interesting thing. And I don't want to see that just get destroyed. I feel like there's also just the whole idea of like being in the cusp of cutting edge tech and NBA and all that and what's possible. I think that's really interesting. But I think to me, it's really just more about the community that's been built here and just like wanting to see us all kind of rise together. Yeah, we'll play one community clip.
We love the community.
But yeah, it's true. We love the community, and that's what hurts the most, I think, when I see the product sort of make flubs or get mismanaged or just not run the way that we all believe that it could. It's because I think it's the community.
Tandy, I think the thing with it is, sorry to cut you off there. The thing that bothers me, I think the most is it's like we all understand broadly what it could be.
Right.
And I think we're frustrated that it feels like it's stuck in the mud.
Yep.
For lack of a better term. I'm buying on the marketplace. That's because I enjoy buying shit. I'm a fucking degenerate. And like, I'm buying some rares here and there. I'm completing the playoff set. Like, whatever. It's fun. I'm enjoying it. I just had a Micah Hyde legendary sell for a little under $1,000. I'm like, I got some free Dapper. Let's fuck around.
Sure.
Fuck, we didn't even get to the challenge awards.
I know. We'll save that for next time.
We had tons of content this week, baby.
Yeah, exactly. You're streaming like every day, so I'm sure you'll touch on that.
I'm literally streaming every day. Tandy, obviously, open invite. Boards and buckets.
It's only 4 a.m. for me, but sure.
On the break, boards and buckets. Come buy our merch. Come hang out. Yeah, man. We're out in these streets, Dream and I. For the plan for the week, just as an FYI, just get our free plug out.
Yeah.
Our current plan, whether or not this changes, is a whole other thing, audience. Is for Heat games, we're going to be on the board so I can stream, and then for Celtics games, we'll be on the break stream.
So what are you going to do? Like be live commenting on the game while it's happening, or no?
I think it'd be more fun to do pregame stuff.
Okay.
I'm more like I'm weird when I watch games. My friends kind of hate it at times.
What do you do?
Mostly because so my background is in broadcasting originally with you know this, Tandy, but like
so you mute it and you'd give your play-by-play.
Well, no, it's more like if I'm at a bar with friends, I'll be like I'll get real basketball nerdy. I'm like, ooh, that was a great back cut. You know, like, and my friend's like, will you shut the fuck up? And I'm like, but that was a fucking great play. Like, that was incredible. Did you see the way that they did that Indian run? No. You know, that Spanish play that they just ran, that was incredible. You know, so I like during games, I usually shut Twitter off and I'm focused.
Yeah.
I might check during like quarter breaks or something, just to see what's happening, get a gauge on reaction.
Right.
But my texts are on do not disturb. Like I'm locked in. So I don't know whether we're going to do it during the game because I'm not in that space.
It doesn't sound like a good idea then.
That doesn't seem healthy.
No.
But we'll probably do some pregame stuff. We'll do some postgame stuff. And then we'll figure it out. We'll probably do some pre-recorded stuff. I have some interviews that I have to book this week. We've got, like you, got some stuff cooking. I know you got a long list of stuff going on this week. So, yeah, man, it is what it is.
All right. Well, I know you got to start heading out, beat the traffic, get to work.
I'm definitely not beating the traffic, but I will get to work.
I didn't get my Warriors Mavs pick, by the way, which is I think I'd love to see Luka move on, but I think it's going to be Warriors in 6.
So you think Warriors Celtics?
Yeah, I think it's Warriors Celtics.
That would make me very happy in a way.
Yep. You can go watch it.
Like, I mean, it'd be fun for the city, you know. Obviously, you know, I would be doing a lot of betting with my friends and kind of making things work. I'd make a lot of money off them, so that would be great. So whatever.
Yeah. So let's see. We'll check in again. It's going to be fun. Game 1 tonight. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, we'll figure it out for sure. So I'm going to say Heat probably win tonight. By the way, take the under. I'm going to say 93-85.
That's a good idea. I think the under is going to hit all series, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, these are 2 of the top 4 defensive teams in the regular season.
Yeah.
So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah.
Tandy, that was phenomenal. Nice little hour of content we baked in.
I know. I'm surprised. I'm surprised we could go under an hour. That's usually actually pretty difficult.
For the 2 of us, you know, it's not Pack Trip and I doing 5 hours, but you know.
Exactly. All right, man. Well,
later, bud.
Thanks. Let's go Celtics, and we'll talk again soon.
Later.
All right. See ya.
Static Selector.